Okay, today we're doing quite a lot of bridge work, quite a lot of glute work, and a little bit with the ball. The ball under the hips is quite good fun, depending on your idea of fun, of course. But a little bit of balance needed there. But I'll keep it nice and low key, and we'll work on that one over the coming weeks. Okay, let's start off on your back, with your feet on the floor and your arms down by your side. So thinking about your neutral spine. So you've got a little gentle curve through your lower back. So big enough space underneath my lower back to slide my hands underneath. I'm going to start off just with a gentle pelvic tilt. Let's take a deep breath in. As you breathe out, you're going to draw your belly button towards your spine. You're going to zip up through your pelvic floor and you're going to push your lower back into the floor. And then release back to neutral again. So you're starting off on your tailbone and then you're going to lift your tailbone and print your lower back. So think about pushing your waistband into the floor. Release back to neutral. So got a little gap through your lower back again. So the lower back is going to, the gap is going to disappear as you tilt. So it's a really small move, but it's quite important for loosening off the lower back. So tilt and squeeze and release. Give your shoulders down away from the ears. Your fingers are sliding down towards your heels. Just tilting, scooping through your core. So really zip up through your pelvic floor as you tilt and draw your belly button towards your spine. Release back to neutral, tilting. And each time if you can, just make that move a little bit more exaggerated. So you're pushing the back into the floor even more and arch the back even more as your lower back starts to loosen off. Tilt and release. Tilt and release. Just one more. And release. And then bring one knee in towards you. And then bring the other knee and hug both knees in towards you and gently rock your knees back and forth. So again, you're massaging your tailbone into the floor. It's a really nice one to do if your lower back, really lower back is really stiff and sore and feeling tight. If you can, with your hands under your thighs. So you're increasing that range with the toes coming down to the floor and hugging the knees in. Tap, really massage your lower back into the floor, all the way through to your tailbone. In, release. In and release, in and release. One more. And then release and bring both feet to the floor. So your feet and knees are going to be hip width apart. Your arms are going to be down by your side and slide your heels in nice and close to your hips. We're going to work through a pelvic tilt and then continue through the tilt. So push your lower back into the floor, lift your tailbone, but continue peeling up through your spine. It's going to roll up vertebra by vertebra coming up onto your shoulders and take a deep breath in through your nose and then breathing out, rolling down again and printing your lower back into the floor. So pushing your waistband into the ground and then ending up onto your tailbone again. So again, peeling up through your spine, rolling up to your shoulders, breathing in at the top, breathing out, rolling down. So you don't feel you're getting enough lift. If like me, you've got quite a flat back, you'll find it useful to come up onto your toes, you get a higher lift. It's much better positioning. And then roll back down again through your spine, back to neutral. So keep those feet in close to your hips. So let's minimise the tension through your hamstrings. If your feet are too far away from you, you might find you start to cramp through hamstrings. If you do get crampy hamstrings and calves easily, this might be one that you might need to have a little bit of a hamstring stretch halfway through or even before you start, just to help keep the cramping at bay. So rolling up the shoulders, just a nice classic shoulder bridge. Roll down through your spine. So imagine your spine like either a bicycle chain or a beaded necklace. You're lifting up bead by bead, link by link, coming up, rolling down slowly back to neutral. Got the arch through your lower back to finish. And again, push it back into the floor. Right, we're going to breathe in the top, breathing out as you roll down. Back to neutral. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Breathing out through your mouth, peeling up, rolling up and up into your bridge, breathing in at the top, breathing out, rolling down, back to neutral. One more, peeling up. This time we're going to stay up in our bridge. And then you're going to bring one knee in towards you. You're going to lengthen that leg up towards the ceiling. Keep the leg straight, lower the leg downwards, bring the foot in and lengthen back up, lower down, bring the heel in, and lengthen, staying in your bridge. Really feel that glute work in the glute that's supporting you, keeping your hips as level as you can. Don't let the hips sag to the side. Lower down, in, lengthen, changing legs, staying in your bridge if you can. In, lengthen, lower, in, lengthen, lower, in, and lengthen, lower, and lengthen, lower, in, and lengthen, lower, in, and lengthen, lengthen, and one more. And lengthen, and then bend the knee, bring the foot down, roll down through your spine, come back to neutral and hug both knees into your chest, give your lower back a little stretch, rock your knees back and forth. And then bring both feet to the floor, bring the arms down by your side. Again, shoulders are down away from your ears, lift onto your toes, and then coming up into a bridge, hold it there if you can. And then just squeeze and squeeze and pulse through the glutes. So squeeze, 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 zipping and hovering through your core. Squeeze as you lift, release, squeeze, lift, squeeze, lift, lift, squeeze, lift, squeeze, lift, lift, squeeze and lift. And then all the way down through your spine, come back to neutral. This time as you lift your hips up, you're going to lift your arms up. Bring your arms all the way to the floor above your head if you can. Breathing in. As you breathe out, roll down through your spine. Scoop your arms around and down by your side. Got a ball in the way there. And again, peeling up, rolling up, lift the arms up. And circle around, down, back to neutral. So peel up, lift your arms up. Lengthen through the shoulders, circle your arms around as you roll back down to neutral. So lifting up, get my hair trapped underneath my back, rolling down back to neutral, and again lifting up, circle around, rolling down back to neutral, lifting up, around, one more, lifting up, around, and down again. And then hug your knees into your chest, give your lower back a little stretch. Rocking your knees back and forth. And then bring both feet to the floor again. Take my hair out to one side. Okay, arms down by your sides again. And then peeling up into your bridge, lift your arms up. Just so they're above your chest, reaching up to the ceiling, palms facing in. And if you can, keeping your hips and shoulders level, just lift one foot off the floor. And down, change the other leg. If you need to, you can keep your arms down by your side if you need a little bit more stability. And down, lifting up, down, lifting up, and down, lift, down, lift, down, lift. Down, and down, lift, and down, lift, down, down. One more to each leg. And last one. Keep the arms where they are, roll down through your spine, come back to neutral. Feet flat to the floor. Now imagine you have a box between your hands. You're going to lift that box up to the ceiling. So you're lifting your shoulders but not your head. Imagine that box is really heavy. You can't bend your arms, you just push your shoulders down to the floor. Now imagine it's really light and it's pulling your arms up, lifting up, keeping your head on the floor. It's really heavy, it's pushing your shoulders down. So it's a shoulder retraction, lifting up, squeezing down, reaching up, squeezing down, lifting up, squeezing down, lifting up, squeezing down. So a couple more, lift and down, and last one, lift and down. Bring both arms to the floor above the head, stretch through your shoulders, slide out one leg, slide out both legs, and lift your ribs up from your hips. Really lengthen out through your shoulders, lengthen out through your core, big stretch, tall. And slide your heels back in again. Okay, do a little bit of work with the ball underneath your hips now. So with your feet in towards your hips, lift your hips up and pop the ball underneath your tailbone. And then do a few more of these with the ball under our hips in the coming weeks. So you will get a chance to get a little bit better at them. It's under your tailbone. So if you look, it's not under my lower back. It's nowhere near my waistband. It's under my tailbone. It's supporting my hips and not my lower back. If it's on the lower of your back is going to arch over the top. We don't want that. We want to support your hips. So bring your arms down by your side, and your feet and knees are going to stay hip width apart. So engage your core to help with the balance, keeping your hips level. So going to lift one foot off the floor. Bring the knee in towards you. The knee is going to stay bent. We're not bringing the heel in towards your hips. You're keeping that knee bent and down. So keep the knee at the same angle. Thighs moving in towards you and down. So lift one foot up and down again. Lift one foot up. And there's your alternating legs. Lift and down. It helps if you just focus on one point on the ceiling. Trying to look around you. Try to stay really focused. If that feels quite easy for you, you're going to just switch over legs halfway. So switch, tap, and switch, tap the floor, switch and tap, switch and tap, switch and tap, and tap, tap, switch and tap, switch and tap, switch, tap, 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 and then lift both feet off the floor if you can, keeping your shins parallel to the floor. Take a deep breath in. Your core engaged, keeping the shins parallel to the floor. Lengthen one leg out, reach the foot away from you. So you're open to the front of the hip, take the leg as low as you feel you can. And bend the knee back in again. Change legs, lengthen out, take the leg as low as you feel you can. Open through the front of the hip and back. So the leg will go lower to the floor in relation to your hips than it will if you're laying on the floor. So use that to be able to open up through the front of the hip. Lengthen out, reach out, and bend back in. Lengthen out, reach that leg away, and bending in. Lengthen, and bend. Lengthen, and bend. Lengthen, and bend. Lengthen, and bend. Last one. And bend, and now if you can, lengthen both legs out, flex, push the heels away, the feet and knees aren't touching, bend the knees back in. Just lengthen, flex, push the heels away. We've done quite a lot of work on your toes. So just now lengthen out through those calves by pushing your heels away from you and bend in again. Lengthen, flex, push the heels away and bend the knees in. Lengthen, push away and bend. Lengthen, push away, and then just one more. Lengthen, really push through those heels, and bend, and bring the feet down to the floor. Hold the size of the ball with your thumbs, and then lift the hips up off the ball, and then push the hips down so you squash the ball into the floor. Inhale, lifting up. Exhale, squash down to the ball. I'll take my arms away and you can see, so lifting up. And squashing down. You need to hold the size of the ball if the ball's going to roll away or change position. So lifting up, squash down, lifting up, squash down. Really scoop for the core as you push down. So you're using your core to push down, lift, pushing down, lifting up, zipping through your core, pushing down, lift, and just one more, lift, and down, and then lift your hips up and take the ball out from underneath you. Lose the ball out and hug your knees into your chest as you give your lower back a little stretch, rocking your knees back and forth, massaging your tailbone into the floor, and then bring your feet to the floor. Bring your knees out wide to open through your hips, externally rotating, and stretch your arms all the way up. Arch the back slightly, lengthen out through your abdominals. And then bring the knees back into hip width apart again. Then we're going to rest my right ankle across the front of my left thigh. And then I've got to push that knee away from me. So push the knee away and just gently open up through the hip. A bit of a hip flexor stretch. Externally rotating through that hip. Push the knee away to make it a little bit more of a stretch. If you want, you can lift up onto the toe with the supporting leg. Keep that knee pushed away. And release. Keep your foot where it is. Then reach through to your left leg to hold it behind the thigh and ease in towards you. So you're stretching out the glute of your right leg. So the leg that's closest to you is the glute you're stretching out. Now if you don't feel enough of a stretch there, you can put one hand on the ankle, other hand through the outside of the other ankle and ease in towards you that way. So if you're already quite flexible through your glutes, through your lower back, then you might want to just take the stretch just that little step further. Hold that stretch. Or you might want to just bring the knee in diagonally across the opposite shoulder. Depending on where you get tight through your glutes. This little piriformis stretch there. And release down, changing legs. So rest ankle across the thigh. So left ankle on your right thigh. Push your left knee away from you as you open up through that front of the hip. So push that knee away, externally rotating, just gently open up. Lengthen out through hip flexors. Hold that stretch there. Again, if you want to just come up onto the toe of the supporting leg, take that stretch a little bit further. And release, and then reach through. Again, hold on either behind the supporting leg, ease in towards you. You might get enough of a stretch there. If you don't, you can hold onto your ankles and ease in towards you. So feel a nice little stretch there, but if I bring the knee diagonally across, I can feel even more of a stretch there, really getting deeper into the glute, deep there into the piriformis. Nice stretch. And release down. Bring both feet to the floor. Have a little stretch out again. You lengthen out. Stretch from fingertips to toes. Lift your ribs up from your hips. And slide your heels back in, arms down by your side. Well done. You're done.